Welcome to the White Rabbit YouTube channel. In today's episode, the largest island in the world, Greenland. It is said that Eric the Red was exiled from Iceland to Greenland over a dispute with his neighbor that ended with several deaths. He named the land Greenland in the hope it would attract settlers. But Greenland is just a frozen wasteland, right? Wrong. That's what they want you to think. Just like Antarctica and the deep oceans of the world, Greenland is a great place to hide in plain sight. And there was greenery and forests on Greenland in the not too distant past. More on this in the live episode. The United States of America operates a base there. And just like every research station in Antarctica located near an object of interest, the same goes for the Putifik Thule base. Officially, it's a space surveillance and missile detection site, i.e., NORAD, along with the US Space Force to detect and track ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, and home to the 821st Space Group. What happened to the first 820 groups? Their mission is to enable space superiority. That makes sense. But also scientific research work in the Arctic. Scientific research work in the Arctic? To what end? You'll find out soon. The 821st Space Base Group operates the DoD's Department of National Defense northernmost installation, as well as the world's northernmost deep sea water seaport, a perfect place to greet USOs undetected, especially from November to March, when the entire area is covered in perpetual darkness. The Putifik Base airfield boasts a 10,000 foot or 3,000 meter runway. That's longer than most international airports, and they handle 8 flights a day. That seems like a lot considering the area. Something must be going on, and something is. Located nearby is Camp Century. It was a United States Arctic military research scientific base for Project Iceworm, a vast network of nuclear missile launch sites that could survive a first strike. Powered by the first portable nuclear reactor, it left hazardous waste behind when the camp was finally abandoned in 1967 due to the ice shelf moving, or maybe due to something under the ice. The real reason Space Force is located in Greenland is to reverse engineer alien technology from the multi-kilometer alien anomaly there. It's very similar to the Baltic Sea anomaly that I talked about in my previous episode. There is a dampening field that shuts down all electrical activity in the vicinity of the anomaly. Where the Baltic Sea anomaly shuts off electrical equipment within 200 meters, the Greenland anomaly shuts off electrical equipment within 200 miles. That's 322 kilometers. That's how it was accidentally discovered in 1947. When the Keybird, a B-29 bomber, flew into the anomaly's dampening field, it had to make an emergency crash landing on a frozen lake. They only got rescued 3 days later, as no other plane could get past the dampening field unscathed. A lot of our technology comes from reverse engineering this anomalous craft, the main mission of the 821st Space Group. Many nations are in cahoots, along with the United Nations, just like in Antarctica. As you can see, this is Greenland, and this is a clip from Google Maps from 12 years ago, back when it wasn't as censored as it is now. You can see a structure said to be 300 miles long by 55 miles wide and 2 miles high, or 482 kilometers long by 88 kilometers wide and 3 kilometers high. Go big or go home, eh? Look at the colors. It definitely looks out of place. This is what Google Earth looks like these days. Big difference from 12 years ago. So I'm zooming in on the eastern coast of Greenland and zooming in on one of the inlet areas to show you an iceberg UFO. And on the way there, here on the left, there is an anomaly that we will check out further a little later. But first, let's take a look at this odd UFO nestled in with an iceberg as a part of a way to camouflage itself, or is it just an oddly shaped iceberg? Who knows? But having that anomaly nearby, it's probably a military base to investigate this UFO, as they always have bases near anomalous objects. So you can see I'm zooming in a little bit, and all around it is ice and snow, and there's one clear path. There's a road that leads to the ocean, and it must be man-made. First of all, why would they blur it out if it wasn't? And second of all, there's a road, so they're covering up something they don't want us to know, and it leads directly back to the iceberg UFO. So we're just gonna scroll to the right and make our way back to the UFO, which is right here. I hope you enjoyed that. I must mention the 1968 B-52 crash near Thule Air Base that had 4 thermonuclear bombs, 3 of which smashed on impact, spreading nuclear contamination around, that I mentioned in my previous video, Canada Conspiracies. If you haven't seen it, check it out. The extreme heat from the burning of the 225,000 pounds of jet fuel caused the melting of the ice sheet, making pieces of wreckage and munitions sink to the ocean floor. Or was it on purpose and made to look like an accident to block the entrance to the hollow earth, also in Baffin Bay, maybe using the 4th unrecovered thermonuclear bomb? Now let's go back in time a little to a time when Greenland was much warmer and circumnavigation was possible, in 1421, before the onset of a miniature ice age in the 1430s. Admiral Zhu Wen was tasked by the emperor with mapping and fixing the exact position of the North Pole and Polaris. The symbolic and practical significance of Polaris to the ancient Chinese was of great importance. Polaris sits right above the North Pole. As the Earth rotates throughout the night, the position of Polaris stays stationary with all other stars rotating around it. Navigators can rely on Polaris to always point north. And it was also very important to be able to determine the latitude to get more exact coordinates. I'll go more into detail about the ancient Chinese on and around Greenland in the live episode 7 days from today. There's also said to be a CIA base on the southwest side of Greenland, but being the CIA, I could not find confirmation for that one. Greenland is also a short distance away from Hyperborea to the north. I mentioned this one in the Admiral Byrd and Secret Journal episode where they fly into the inner earth and have an adventure. It's a pretty great story. If you haven't seen it, be sure to check it out. But I also plan to make a full dedicated episode about Hyperborea in the future. But for right now, that's all for Greenland. So, as always, I'm not saying all these stories are 100% true. I'm just telling a story, and you can believe what you want. Uncovering the truth, one conspiracy at a time. See you next week on the White Rabbit YouTube channel.